Studio B for some folks whose homes I think are pretty much all around the Blue Ridge Mountains. Well, some of them anyway. It's Lover's Leap here in Studio B, and our live sessions are brought by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. Welcome you all to Studio B.
Thanks for having us.
I know some of you live around here. Mary Lucy and Billy Cardine live, I don't know, somewhere around the Pisgah National Forest somewhere.
Yep, up on the side of the mountain outside of Weaverville.
Aha, very nice, outside Weaverville. And then we have Joel Timmons and Shelby Means. I don't know where you live.
We live in a van, but
Right.
We pay rent in Nashville.
I shouldn't laugh. That actually happens with a lot of folks, especially with a cost of living in a big city like Nashville.
yeah, we do pay rent and store most of our footwear and spare guitars in Nashville.
Okay, yeah. And I feel like you all maybe have like a home around here because you play pretty often. With
We sure do. We've got a couple familiar couches in the region.
Yeah. Joel got to know WNCW and vice versa with Soul Driven Train back in the day from Charleston, so I know you got a lot of friends down there. And somewhere along the line, you met and married Shelby Means, who's from Wyoming.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, my mom's listening. Hi, Mom.
Oh, way over
Out in Laramie.
in Laramie. Good. I hope the internet's strong there.
Yeah.
And then Mary Lucy of the Biscuit Burners and so much more. And I don't know where you're from originally.
Virginia. I was born
yeah.
in Durham, but raised in Virginia.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And then Billy Cardine, I think he's from India, right? That's maybe his adopted home.
Spiritual home.
They are all in Lover's Leap nowadays, and cool idea to get together and form this band. It's kind of like, what was it, like a double date, blind date somewhere? You guys met and decided to make music?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Tinder for banjo players, actually.
Yeah, they need something.
The banjo player didn't make the cut.
Yeah, where's the band?
Our
No.
dear buddy Justin Thompson had the idea to put us together for his festival, the French Broad River Festival. So we got together the night before our set, and it was magical, just right off the top. Everything came very smoothly, and so it sort of just couldn't stop. We couldn't stop being around each other.
It's just like all Justin Thompson's vision.
Okay.
He's like, how about y'all just get together and play a set? So we met up the night before our set, and then and we weren't really in any way planning on making a band, but we just had a great time. And after the set, we were like, hey, maybe we should probably do this. We should hang out and play a little bit more. So here we are.
I love that. I love it when at festivals, especially because you got different acts, people blend together. Sometimes it seems pretty darn spontaneous. Sometimes, like you say, an organizer or someone will kind of plan and like, I want to get you guys together.
Yeah.
And then to have a band come together and named after like that lovely rocky outcropping around the French Broad Hot Springs area, right?
Yeah, exactly. We didn't have a name for that first show, and we asked the crowd what they thought would be a good name for our band, and a few people threw out some ideas, and
Yeah, it was my buddy Dustin from Sawtee, Georgia, who came up to the stage, with this big wild man beard and raised his hands up over his head and pointed up to the rock outcrop across the river and said, "You guys are Lover's Leap," And we said, "Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
it works."
I like the legendary tale of it.
Yeah, I couldn't remember who had given us that name, and I was telling that story at a show, and Dustin was like, "That was me! I named the band."
All right.
Giving credit where
Yes,
credit's due.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks, Dustin, and everyone involved in getting Lovers Leap together. Let's hear a song, y'all.
Yeah, we'll start off with a hopeful springtime song this morning. This is "Love Is Gonna Live."
And it was just released as a single, our second single. It's coming off of our EP. The EP's set to be released April 19th. So if you can't get enough of it today, you have the chance to listen, on the places where you can find music.
Yes, indeed, it is. It's Lover's Leap here on WNCW. Joel Timmons and Shelby Means wrote that one maybe a little bit ago. Did you've played that with Sally and George? haven't you?
Exactly, yeah. I wrote that, I started that song when I was still living in Charleston, and Shelby was living in Nashville, and she was coming to visit. And I looked around at my very grimy bachelor pad and thought, I've got some work to do if I'm ever she's ever gonna come back.
Yeah.
And sort of used that metaphor of that old house on James Island as like my kind of old beat up heart.
Oh, that's cool.
And then its song has kind of taken on different meanings. during the last election cycle, it felt like maybe love is going to live in the House of
Okay.
Representatives. You know?
Ah, okay.
So it's cool when life experience changes the meaning of songs,
Yeah.
even for us, you know. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, a lot of things, songs and
Yeah.
otherwise, paintings,
Yeah.
sculptures, books, philosophies, they can take on new meanings with different life events.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, so, all right, so you got that, you two have just found a sweet harmony and a sweet life together. Last time you were here, I don't think you had married yet, so congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
When you were here under the name of the group Sally and George, which, by the way, is, I think, your grandparents, each of
That's
your,
right. Yeah,
that's
my maternal grandparents were called Sally and George.
Yeah, cool. But boy, to hear the sweet harmonies come in there. Mary, your harmony just fits perfectly with theirs, too.
Thanks, Martin.
Mary
Wait
Lucy.
till you hear Billy's harmony.
Aha, that's what I'm waiting for, indeed.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. He's like, yikes. only in the shower,
Great
maybe do you hear Billy. I don't know. Harmonizing well with the dobro there. That's Billy Gardine's got his dobro, Mary Lucy on the banjo, and this is a brand new operation, folks. Lovers Leap. Their website, loversleapband.com, is where you can find info on them. And as you mentioned, Shelby, some of these songs have been released through there and such. But for a brand new band, you guys are already making waves and folks getting to know you. We just played Abigail Washburn earlier. She's already heard of you all and had some nice testimonial. She thinks your stuff's great.
Oh yeah, Abby's the best.
Absolutely.
I went straight for her. I was like, we need to talk to somebody famous.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I know somebody famous. I used to play in a band with her. So
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
You can count
excited
famous
to-
banjo players on one hand, I think. You know?
That's right. One claw hammered hand. But yeah, you've worked a little bit with Abigail and all, and Uncle Earl, Mary.
Yeah, I used to play bass with them.
You did, yeah. That's cool. And then you were last here with a bunch of other fine regional women doing some cool stuff. And then we knew you from way back in the Biscuit Burner days with you and Billy. And you keep busy, but also raising kids and sounds like doing great homesteader's life there.
Yeah, and I work at a mission hospital, so that's what I do when I'm not playing music and hanging out with the family. So
Yeah.
shout out to all my nurse buddies.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. Lovers Leap here on WNCW. Of course, Billy been keeping busy with a lot of that aforementioned stuff around home, but also Acoustic Syndicate.
Yeah.
How are the boys?
They're great. Some of the most wonderful people I've ever met.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, cool. And you all have some shows in the area, including tonight. Is it already Friday?
It's Friday.
Friday.
Come on.
That means you're going to be in West Asheville tonight for a show at ISIS.
Yep.
And then you head across the line to Johnson City tomorrow
Indeed.
for, I think, the Interstate 40. I know it's open. It might still be kind of slow unless they've cleared the rock piles.
Yeah, we'll probably go over 26.
Oh, yeah, we up going
right?
up 26. this
Okay.
evening.
Yeah,
Cool.
John
Tomorrow,
Stickley
tomorrow.
Trio. We're playing with them tomorrow night in Johnson City.
Yeah, at the Willow Tree.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's going to be so fun.
Cool. And then I know you're in Charlotte at Midwood Guitar Studio.
Yeah.
Thursday.
It's a really interesting venue. It's like a beautiful high-end guitar boutique.
Ah.
Yeah, leave your credit cards at home.
Yeah.
And then they bring out these church
that.
pews
Or
and
not.
set, it's an intimate show and with lots of expensive merchandise singing along on the walls,
Can you just
Yeah.
grab something from the wall and play along?
That's what I did
Yes.
last time. Yeah, I was
Yes.
like trying out all these cool electric guitars last time. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
How many people fit in this?
I think we're selling 60 tickets, so it's pretty limited. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's a Midwood Guitar Studio in Charlotte, and then so that's next Thursday. And I know you're in Greenville. You don't leave out the
I
upstate.
think actually next Thursday, is Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, and then we
Charlestown.
go to Charlotte. But we'll be in Charleston on Thursday with the Marshgrass Mamas,
Oh.
who are a sweet group of mamas that live on Johns Island in Charleston. And I think their maybe most famous member is Carrie Ann Hurst from Shovels and Rope.
That's right. Oh, cool. All right. And I know you will be in Greenville at Quest Brewing on April 4th.
Yep.
And Knoxville, but after that, again, their website is loversleapband.com. And, we've done a lot of talking. Let's hear maybe a couple of tunes. How about? Got a couple of tunes here from Lovers Leap here on WNCW. I don't know how it sounds to you all on Radioland. I have a feeling it sounds pretty much just as phenomenal as it does in my headphones here. Sean Rubin is our engineer, helping to make you all sound just great.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, thank you, Sean.
So that last tune was Red Dawn Awakening. Shelby Means on the bass and singing that one. You want to talk about how that song came about?
Yeah, sure. It's a song from my soul. It kind of just fell down from the sky. One afternoon, I'd recently been visiting my friend Ellie, who was sick with cancer, and so it's a song for Ellie, and just a song for anyone who's battling a disease like that.
Yeah, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, really becomes kind of a real inspirational song.
Yeah,
Celebratory.
totally. It felt like she was there. She was surrounding me, and she was, she was still alive at the time, but she was close to the end, and I could feel her spirit like with me and surrounding me, and I felt like I could be there surrounding her with love, and I feel like that's just all we can do in those sorts of times.
My gosh, yeah. Anyone who's ever experienced that end of life period, like just right there, face to face, viscerally, it's a powerful experience. I mean, it sounds cliche, of course it is, but no, really, it can be a beautiful experience too. Quite moving.
Definitely. Yeah. And there's something with the sunrise and the red dawn awakening that, like, it comes every day no matter what. So there's always sunshine, unless you live in Nashville, and then the clouds block it out.
Oh,
but
no.
For Portland, if my sister Anna's listening, I love you.
Oh, and you know something about Big Sky, Shelby, coming from Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the Big Sky state of Montana, but you got pretty
Yeah,
wide
we're
open
right
vistas.
close, right under that same sky.
Yeah. And before that, a wonderful interlude. Billy Cardine on the dobro, and Joel, I loved the guitar work you were doing with that. Just a real nice sonic soundscape, and the bass as well. And I mentioned, Billy, joked that maybe you're from India, but maybe in a past life or something. But maybe a bit of an Indian influence from all of your studies you've done there, showing up there, and maybe some of your singing too, Shelby. I don't know if he's worn off on you with some of that.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I had to go to India to learn how to play dobro in tune. That's kind of what happened.
Isn't that funny?
But no, it's I have ended up spending a lot of time over there. My teacher's in Calcutta, and I've gone I've maybe toured with bands through there, I guess 5 or 6 times now, and so I have friends all over the place there now, and it's a wonderful place to go visit, especially if you like food and music.
Yes. Yeah. Who doesn't like food and music? I mean, that's why we're here.
Everybody that's with us right now.
Let's go out for lunch after this. Before that was a wonderful song, Walnut Tree, that you wrote, Mary Lucy, and I think it's about inspired by a tree outside.
Yeah, I wrote it out sitting on our porch. We live in the National Forest, and it's just beautiful, inspirational. You can't really... There's one house you can see, my parents' house. Hello to my parents if they're listening. But we're just surrounded by nature, and it's an important place to get your head straight. The drive is kind of a bummer sometimes, commuting back and forth into town, especially now that we do it quite often with our kiddos. But it's always an amazing refuge to come home and just be able to go out and walk in the woods and sort of just recenter yourself anytime you need. It's a huge blessing.
Good therapy.
Yeah.
Mental health. And you all recorded this over the course of a number of different trips, since you all are doing your other things. You would get together for a couple days and then go your separate ways, but always meeting at your all's house there.
Yeah.
So maybe nature kind of influenced the recording process as well.
For
as
sure.
a couple
Trickles
of the
into
songs.
everything.
Uh-huh.
There's frogs in the background, and
You didn't
birds.
edit the frogs out?
It's disappointing if there's not some kind of animal in every recording that we do.
All right. Now I want to go back to the other recordings and point them out.
And I had a lot of fun making this record. It was one of the most interesting recording processes that I've ever been a part of, because we did it all on our own, from the pre-production and the songwriting and the arranging to setting everything up. Billy was the engineer, and he also mixed the record. And sometimes Mary or Joel would take the lead on the computer and be the engineer for some vocal takes or something like that. So it was a really cool experience to sort of pass around the engineering duties and just get to do the Lover's Leap EP all on our own.
Cool. All right. Going indie.
Yeah, DIY.
I mean, all you all have done that with your previous groups, real kind of an indie style. And now you got this new collection, 6 songs. It's coming out in April, you said. 5 originals, and then a cool Woody Guthrie Wilco type of thing.
Yeah.
With that California Stars. That was a nice choice at the end.
Oh,
So
thanks.
when you do these shows coming up live, I guess, okay, you got those 6 songs for sure, but then do you weave in songs from what? Soul Driven Train, Biscuit Burners, Della Mae, all your Sally and George, I bet?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then we do some more covers and some instrumentals, and yeah, there's a fun body of work out there that we're still sort of discovering, what works best for this ensemble. But yeah, we'll do this for the live shows this weekend and next. We'll be doing the EP songs, and then as well as some other originals and some other covers, and hopefully some collaborations with the other bands we're working with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And then how about Sally and George, your duo, Joel and Shelby?
Yeah,
Stuff.
we're keeping busy. We just got back from a tour in the Virgin Islands, and we were in Australia in October, and we're going to be out west again this summer.
We're playing,
so.
as Joel said, sort of the. He said.
Oh, we're on the River Rat
Yeah, we're
circuit.
on the River Rat
Oh, yeah.
circuit this coming month and next month, playing at
Shatula Festival,
yes.
which is down in Long Creek, South Carolina, celebrating the Tallulah and Chattooga rivers combined into one weekend. And then we're going to be at the Noli Fest, Nolichucky River Fest over there in Irwin. And I guess we're not doing a set at the French Broad River Festival this year, but we'll be there. Soul Driven Train is going to be at French Broad, so.
And Billy's there with the Acoustic Syndicate.
Yeah.
So we'll all
Really?
be- we'll
Yeah.
all be
Okay,
there.
cool. Cool.
So we'll be in the region a lot in
All right.
various configurations. Yeah.
So the Soul Driven Train folks still doing stuff and
Oh,
coming
yeah.
back around French Broad River.
I'm wearing the Soul Driven Train shirt. Look at it, radio folks.
Why, yes, you are.
10 years going to the Virgin Islands we celebrated this year. So.
Oh my gosh.
Happy
Yeah.
anniversary.
Some- found the
Somebody's
treasure
gotta do
finally.
it.
There's a little camera above the door. We are on Facebook Live, so there you
Oh,
go.
great.
There
All
it
right,
is,
cool.
with a nice hand knit hat too. All right, so that's Sally and George stuff. You can keep up with them, and the whole entourage here is Lover's Leap, and we'll get one more tune from you if you can.
All right.
That's great. And if you didn't get enough this morning and you don't have anything to do tonight and you live in the Asheville area, we're playing at the Isis Music Hall with Hank, Patty, and the Current. That's tonight around 8 p.m.
Yeah.
right.
Come on
This-
out.
Lover's Leap on WNCW. Cool song and a cool story about it. I'm sure Sheryl Crow got over the disappointment,
Yeah.
and it sounds like you did too. At least you got a good song out of it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's Joel Timmons singing that tune and on guitar, and Shelby Means on the bass, and Mary Lucy on the banjo, and Billy Cardine on the dobro, and singing bass there. Sweetly too.
Caught on camera.
Caught on camera right there. Lover's Leap. Playing live tonight with Hank, Patty, and the Current, you said too.
That's right.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's happening at ISIS in West Asheville tonight, and y'all are in Johnson City tomorrow, and then a bunch of shows, including Charlotte and Knoxville next week.
Right.
The website loversleapband.com. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you,
Thanks so much
WNCW.
for
Thank you, Martin. We
having
love
us.
it.
Yeah,
Love
WCW's
y'all.
the best. Thanks so much, guys.
Appreciate it. Live Studio B sessions here are brought to you by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company.